Hey everybody, this is World War Guy here today, and today we're doing another helmet video. What a surprise. Well, if you haven't known by now, I really like helmets. This video is to look at the difference between the French M26 helmet and the Belgian M26-31 helmet. So this is for if you guys are looking to buy a Adrian helmet, you can tell the difference. Of course, assuming the badges are missing, you can still tell the difference by the helmet if you're looking to buy one, or on original photographs you can maybe help tell which one's a Belgian soldier and which one's a French soldier, and so on. If you've seen a few of my older videos, I have a video about the difference between an M15 and an M26. So if you don't know the difference, check that, then come back here. But after World War I, the French decided that they needed to improve on their helmet to make it more durable, to make it easier to make, and so on. So they came up with the M26. And the Belgians also realized, hey, the M15's not that great. The French, they've improved on their helmets. The Germans have, the British have, other countries have. So we need to improve our helmets as well, which they came with the M26-31. Otherwise, I call it the M31. It came out around 1931, and first glance, it is nearly identical. As you can see, it has the same style, same shape approximately, just about the same color, and the first difference is the badge. So the French, they had different badges for their different service, I think. So this one would be for infantry, then they would have another one, as seen in this one, is the artillery, because with the cross cannons, and of course you would have for the medical staff, engineers, colonial troops, naval troops, and so on. The Belgians, on the other hand, just had this line here, which they kept for all services: artillery, infantry, motorized, all that stuff. Now let's look into the shell. All right, so looking at the helmet, one thing you can notice is the French, their visors are still fairly slanted like the M15. So the M15s were more vertically, straight down, and then in 1926 they kind of raised them a little bit to kind of give it a bit more, I would assume, room. It doesn't really enclose your head as much. I think that's what it is. The Belgians, on the other hand, decide to make it flare out even more than the French, as you guys can tell. What is the reason for this? The only thing I can think of is that, for example, your ears, they're not as covered, so it's easier to hear. But in turn, that's a little bit less protection for your ears. So why they do that, I'm not entirely sure. So that's really the biggest difference you're going to notice on the shells. Besides that, they still have the same lugs here for the liner system, and they still have the cones. Now we'll turn them to the side real quick. And you can see there's not that much of a difference on the back and front. The Belgians, you can see it flares out a little bit more than the French, but it's mostly on the sides you're going to notice this difference. Another difference that the Belgians had from the French is the cone on top. So the French, they still kept it steel on top. That's why a lot of them still have the original paint on them, while the Belgians, for, I'm guessing, to kind of save cost and production and so on, they added a aluminum cone, which is why a lot of times on these Belgian helmets there's a lot of paint missing on the cone, because it's made of aluminum and the paint doesn't really stick that well to it. Why did they change this? I'm not entirely sure, but that's one easy way to notice or to tell the difference. All right, looking on the inside, now for this part we're going to use my artillery French helmet because it has the original liner inside. All right, so for the liners, they're basically the exact same. For example, this artillery one, on the hooks there's only one for each bracket there, while the Belgians had two. Now this does not mean the Belgians only had two. The French also had two. I think it just depends on the manufacturer. Some of the manufacturers only put one, while others put two. So those are the same. The number of tongues on the French one here is, what's that, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While the Belgians also had 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the liners were exactly the same. They had the same brackets to attach the liners, and the chin straps were also the same. Here you have a simple friction buckle for the leather chin strap, while the Belgians also had a friction one. One thing I just now noticed is it looks like this one, the buckle is placed on the right side of the helmet, while on the Belgian one, it's placed on the left side. So you can see they're both facing the same way, and the buckles are on different sides. Is that a French or Belgian thing? I'm not sure. But that's something I just noticed. Also, the bails to hold the chin straps are these big square ones, which is the same with the Belgians, as you can see there. So that is the way you can tell the difference between a French M26 helmet and a Belgian M26-31 helmet. As you guys notice, there are really small differences that the Belgians did differently for whatever their reason was. But besides that, if you're not that knowledgeable in these helmets, you honestly wouldn't be able to tell the difference besides the badges on the front. I hope this helped you guys. Hopefully the helmet you guys find will have the badge, because it increases its value. But I hope this helped you guys. If it did, drop a like, write a comment, share the video, subscribe. But besides that, you guys have a great day.